Listen, they were worried about people looting Coquille. Well, when I was a kid, I used to loot the fuck out of Coquille. I go down there, I wear knee-high socks, and I would line my socks with bubble yum. Like 15, 20 packs. I'd take a whole box of bubble yum, and I walked out like a
That's not
fucking...
looting. That's just straight up shoplifting, dude.
Yeah.
Looters
Yeah.
don't bother to put bubble yum in their socks. They just carry it out through the broken window.
Yeah,
Can you imagine Andy with 20 packs of bubble gum in his fucking knee-high socks walking out of the store?
Well, what I did was I was self-taught, and I grew up in a time with there was very little parental supervision, which backfired on me later.
Let us know when you got it.
You guys look like you just lost a friend. James Inman.
You cocksucker. You need a project, man. You need another project around the house, because I can tell when you don't have one, because that's when you fucking kick the bear. And then walk away and leave me to fucking deal with it. He's screaming at Chaille and I, irredeemable psychopaths.
I don't even
been on the thread.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know where I don't even know where he gets started, but it's like a...
I don't know why he throws me into it, because I don't engage. I throw one sucker punch from like a football field away, and then I don't even check. I have to go back when Chad goes, yeah, James Inman's going wild on Brett. I'm like, what? I mean, I don't even go back to see if he even checked what I wrote.
I like that Andy he just said, I don't even know how he gets started. You throw a fucking grenade at him, Andy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, like I told him was that our lady producer just doesn't want him on the show. She hates him.
She's a real stickler. Well, he shouldn't have. He probably called her a cunt on a podcast at some point.
Yeah,
we'd have to go back through. We'd have to
Yeah.
go back through the history of all the podcasts to make sure.
I read 7 tweets from James Inman that said that there was no such podcast that exists.
Yeah. Here's what gets me is Inman, that one tweet he had where he said, basically he only hung out with us because it was fun and it never really helped his career. So fuck us. So he was really just trying to use us to further his career. He was bootstrapping off of all of us, and now because we can't really help him, he's like, fuck you.
What's really great is that now we're using him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, he's it's like what was that show, Moonlighting? It's like there's we're building up this sexual tension, and then if we ever do kiss, then it'll go downhill.
Yeah, totally. I thought you were misidentifying Remington Steele as James Inman is our mythical leader who doesn't actually exist.
He's Charlie,
and he's gonna show up.
he's Charlie, and we're the angels. He calls us up, or he didn't leave any messages. This was just straight up a man-on-man Twitter attack.
I was unfortunately tagged in the entire thing, so I got to watch the whole thing. But I don't. I'm like Chaille. I don't. It's not my place to say anything. That was all like you guys before me.
It feels like whenever he jumps me on there, it's like he's playing checkers and then I'm playing Chinese checkers. It's like, I don't even know. Okay, here's this is just way over your head and also a fucking troll.
He's not even playing checkers. He's replaying a game of checkers from 3 years ago that he's still pissed off about.
Yeah. Yeah, now he's mad at an invented character.
As a completely outside source, just watching all these, and not to make it too fucking logical, but it's funny how he decides on one aspect of the argument that may be true or untrue, and then hinges everything around that one thing. Like it's insane.
Yeah, I can explain. I can give a perfect example of that because his whole reason for being pissed off is the altercation fest that JT Habersat booked, and the supposed Unbookables reunion show we did there without him. And when he tried so hard to get on there, JT didn't want to deal with him. And then so of all of the people involved, I was the dumb one because I'm the one who actually got JT on the phone and had a conversation with him about it and found out among the reasons JT didn't want James there. There was a list, a nice long.
There's always a list. There's always a list.
The standard list that everybody else has.
But then I'm the asshole for not fighting to get him on. I'm like, yeah, but what about Andy and Christine and Chaille and Chad? None of them even called JT. They didn't try to. I'm the one who. I at least.
You see that?
I promise.
Erickson just threw me in there. I have nothing to do with any of this.
Even me, and I stay out of it.
You were there, Chad. You're a big part of this. I'm just trying to deflect here.
I wasn't.
Yeah, Chaille wasn't even there at all.
Part of the issues with Andy podcast.
I was invited as a complete civilian to just come and hang out on JT as a friend. And then that evolved into fucking hosting whenever you guys were going. That's how Christine ended up going, was because I was going to go.
Yeah.
And she was she's like, I'll ride with you and go. So, yeah.
The whole thing is ridiculous. It wasn't an Unbookables reunion show. It had Shauna Christmas on it. It had Ray Porter on it. It had people who had never... It just wasn't that. It never was that. Whatever. But just the fact that he's most mad at me because I am the one who actually made an attempt. Yeah,
that is a funny part, Chaille.
That's where I learned my lesson because I was like, JT was like, hey, I don't give a fuck. He can try to contact me all he wants. I'm not calling him back. I don't want him on the show. And, that's the end of it. I should have just been like, hey, sorry, James, he doesn't want to talk to you. But I fucked up.
Any interaction with James Inman always ends with that, putting your head in your hands and going, I shoulda, ... There's the wit that Jonathan calls it, the wit of the stairs. Yeah. When you're going home and you're like, kicking fuck, damn it, I should have just burned my phone. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, is that I've come to understand, and I get a little bit if, a lot of the people that watch, this and the podcast and stuff, you guys have had a relationship for a long time that goes back of being friends and you fuck with each other. And then other people try to fuck with James, like in the same way, really hard, where you don't have any of the friendship part about it. Right. And if people did, and that's what he gets mad about. Now, where he fucks up is by responding to that.
Yeah.
But I do agree. If people just heaped on me all the fucking time like that, I would have just shut off social media and like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm out of this bitch. I'm gonna get a job as a fucking barista or something. I'm not gonna fucking try this angle anymore.
Yeah. Look at all those people on that poster behind Chaille who aren't James Inman. Holy shit. Seems like he could have slid in there somewhere.
Or he could have just paid to go.
Not even, and then there was another fella who fucking snuck into the show in a sideways fashion, who is apparently also an Unbookable. And he didn't take any grief for not helping James out either. He's the, shirtless troubadour.
Doesn't wear a shirt.
Yeah.
He actually took over the
cat
van.
Dad.
He kind of took the whole image of the Unbookables, and then he wrote a book about a road trip in the Unbookables van that wasn't even involving James Inman. And he put the van on the book cover that it wasn't involving James Inman. The road trip didn't go to James Inman's place.
Yeah,
it had nothing to do with him, but he took the whole van that was. James Inman, and he identifies himself as the star of the Unbookables, and nobody else who's watched it would agree. But James has constantly, that's a dig.
Even the people who do agree aren't happy about it. Like people who watch it and say, "Oh,
begrudgingly,
he's the star."
Too much.
But that's the complaint. That's the complaint about it.
Yeah, it's like somebody going, "Hey man, did you see that McDonald's commercial I starred in? Oh, wasn't that a bunch of people dancing around? Yeah, I starred in it. You didn't have a breakout solo or anything, did you? No, I was a star."
That's another one of those
No,
points where you can see the hinge of just like disconnection where I'm the star and that's why you hate me. Maybe it's for different reasons than that, but go ahead and think that's it.
Inman also had not really a feud, but back and forth with Shawcroft. Shawcroft was pissed that he mentioned Hedberg on Sam Tripoli's podcast.
Recently on Foil.
Yeah.
I saw that whole argument unfold too.
And so Inman got a hold of me and goes, it's like, I didn't realize how crazy she was. He said,
"Oh, that's perfect.
It's like,
good.
She
got James Inman.
I'm gonna cut that out.
And so did he.
Yeah, I'm gonna make get a black tea kettle, and then I'm gonna tape James's words to that. Shawcroft's going crazy.
It was funny to watch that unfold. It was like two tsunamis hit each other and then just canceled each other out, and it went back to calm seas right away.
Yeah, they both knew they didn't have the energy for the other.
Mutually assured quitting.
Yeah. Like an old married couple.
Yeah. Well, there's got to be an Abbott to the Costello. You can't have two Costellos. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, cheers.
I'm trying to give a Tinfoil Hat podcast a plug, but I don't see the James Inman episode on his
it's a conspiracy theory.
Well, that's the thing. Is like you think, a big movie star like James Inman, it would probably be pinned at the top of the Tinfoil Hat SoundCloud account. But I don't know. I'll see if we can get it up.
Well, yeah, huh?
James probably got too close to the truth, and the whole thing had to be taken down by the shadow government.
That's been shadow banned.
He got too close to the truth about 9/11 being JT Haberstadt's booking. he booked 20 terrorists. James couldn't get in.
Oh, he sent his tape in and everything.
Yeah, that's the other part of it, dude. You didn't get booked on a festival you didn't apply to. Guess what?
And a booker who didn't want you didn't call you to hire you. That was your tweet, Erickson. It was perfect.
Yeah. Tell him the real is. I can remember specifically. He said, "Tell him the real reason why I didn't get booked at that." And Erickson said, "The booker didn't want you."
I love that our fucking our Joker. You saw the movie Joker, right?
Yeah.
What's that show he wanted to be on? We're like that show, Maury or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's James is our Joker, and he wants to be on our show, and he's gonna be like he'll be timing this. You guys your show started, and you guys did 15 minutes on me.
At least.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do the hour. It's not hard.
Yeah, it's like in the business we call James Inman filler.
I thought it was fodder.
Phil R.
or fucker. I would, if COVID-19 were a person. Hey man, how about NASCAR? It turns out they're not as racist as everybody thought. I mean, they are, but
they still are.
But I think it's funny they're turning against their fan base of racist rednecks. It's like, you can't bring that shit. It's like the one thing you can't wear that shirt to the concert. I'm sorry, you can wear any of your other shirts. Fuck you. Like, don't you have any other shirts that don't have the Dixie flag on it, or can't you?
Actually, it's dumber than that, Andy. They didn't ban anybody from bringing the flag in. It was only in the infield, so all the fucking people can still wear their fucking shirts and bring their flags.
Still wear their fucking flag to a losing fucking situation. I saw the best thing because I'm so sick and tired of this. saw the best thing. Ken Burns was being interviewed by Anderson Cooper, I think it was, or Cuomo, someone. But who knows more than the fucking Ken Burns, the videographer of Civil War and all that. But he was just saying how this has nothing to do with what everyone's saying. And another guy quoted, he said, "Yes, it should be the Dixie flag, the Union Jack should be displayed in a museum." A museum as a display of things that have happened in our history, not in front of a federal building. I thought, there it is. Fucking drop the flag. It's over. That's it. So I don't know. I'm so sick of it. And if the fucking NASCAR has made a ruling that's going to piss off some of their beer swilling fucking gut churning motherfuckers, then maybe it's time to pick a new cause. Because all they want to do is satisfy you. They make the beer cups bigger and more urinals. Yeah, it's because they want to fucking please you guys. And now all of a sudden, they've made a decision. So
I say put up Dewey checkpoints outside of every NASCAR fucking event. Fuck those guys. They've gotten a free reign for far too. I got caught in the after traffic of one of those out like North Carolina or somewhere. And it's like all of a sudden all these trucks would get on the rear of you like, fucking, what's going on here? And then they'd whip by and they had a barbecue and family in back of the truck. And just fucking going, it's like when people see a boxing match or something and they're throwing punches or whatever. It's like, just because you saw fucking skilled drivers on the track doesn't mean after 16 beers and fucking 2 days of sleeping in your fucking car, you're ready to hit the fucking freeway, man. You know?
You're like Buford T. Justice and Smokey and the Bandit. Remember that scene where he was trying to pull out onto the road and then all the truckers came by and like did their fake funeral procession. And like, he couldn't get in. He couldn't go anywhere because they were all fucking headed down the street.
One of the guy riding shotgun in the hearse is the one who recognized Bandit. And then he called, and he had in the fucking hearse, he had a CB radio.
Of course he did.
And all that was just, but that whole thing was just to get clam chowder.
No, that was going to be the sequel. It was Coors. Oh. It was Coors.
They were delivering beer.
God damn it! They must have had a raccoon problem. That's what I fed the raccoons. Jackie Gleason was great in that.
I remember movie,
that was like the Merritt family had the Showtime, and we'd watch the Showtime over there, and that was in the first rotation when that was HBO or Showtime, whichever one was on the scene, and that was like the first time you got to hear swearing in somebody's on the TV.
And purple boobs that were wavy.
Is that a nipple?
Yeah.
I miss those gratuitous, not gratuitous. It was fun. The tits in all the movies back in the day. It's like, fuck yes. It's like it has nothing it just doesn't have anything to do with the scene really, but why not? Porky's throw them in the background.
I watched the other day for fucking, I don't know why, Police Academy. And man, I felt that cancel culture coming up like, hey, there's somebody's going to come and shut this fucking movie off while I'm watching it, man. This thing's got a lot of racist humor and homophobic humor that just would not be allowed these days.
Yeah, Michael Winslow's making a lot of unacceptable sounds in this picture.
What about remember the movie Revenge of the Nerds? And didn't you look at this? Like that was like one of the nerds raped that. He wore a mask and raped
her. He didn't even date rape her. He straight up raped her.
Raped her. And then she liked it so much.
And they peeping Tom into their like locker room or dressing room or something. Remember they were like, we got pushed.
Yeah.
Booger was the creepy one, I think. And Booger got labeled as the creepy one, but the other guy raped a chick. I guess it was I guess they were making a pitch to be a real fraternity, though. What better way to do it than come out of the gate with rape allegations?
We've got all your paperwork here. Everything seems to be in order. I'm just seeing one box not ticked. None of you have raped a chick yet? I mean, unconscious or breathing and awake?
Yeah, so they raped her, and then they also put her, or he raped her, and then he put her picture on the bottom of the pie, naked picture, on the bottom, and then sold. So they look,
revenge porn.
Yeah, revenge
that
porn.
now.
Wow, it's how they won the fucking got to be a frat.
I wonder if that's where they got the name revenge porn from. Revenge.
They should have had another movie. Well, they had a bunch of those, and that gave somebody mentioned Barry Sobel on my thing, and he was in one of the Revenge of the Nerds. You know who I mean, Barry Sobel?
Yeah, we saw him in.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, I remember
he's
now.
He's the worst person.
You invited him on tour with us.
No, I didn't. He invites himself.
Yes,
he's like a. He's a fucking. He's a tick. He fucking ruined. He fucking ruined everything he gets close to.
Come on now.
Barry Sobel.
You invited him.
He's a tick,
and we had a night off.
Andy just walked by a bush, and Barry Sobel attached himself to Andy's leg. And then he was on tour.
I got a phone call. Look, I can mention, a friend of ours who died of skin cancer, stayed in the sun a little too long, and now she's dead. She gave me some pills, and I had some of those pills, and oh God, that face, and I was out and about. I had them, and then he was at one of the shows, and he gets my phone number. I don't even remember giving it to the guy. Anyway, the next day, I'm maybe have a commute pill, and I'm heading to Sacramento from the Bay Area, somewhere out there, and my phone rings, and it's like, hey, are you heading to Sacramento? Can I get a ride? And I didn't even know who it was. And I go, yeah, sure. And then it was.
Whoa. Andy, stop right there. I was waiting for this because I knew this was going to come up. Someone called your phone. You don't know how that person got your number, and they're calling you, and you answer. They ask for a ride, and you say yes.
I didn't know it was Barry Sobel.
You didn't know who it could have been. Anyone.
Right. So then, and then it's like, and then he tells me, it's hey, and then so I realize it's Barry Sobel. So I call Stanhope and I go, Barry Sobel called, and he wants me to pick him up, and at this point he's sending me directions. So it's like, and then I'm like, okay, I'm almost by where he's at. And then, but he was standing on the corner. It was like, turned right. And then there he was, Doug. And then at the same time, Doug's saying, don't pick him up. And he's fucking waving his hands. And then he's in my car before I know what's going on the way to Sacramento. So then
Andy is a victim in all of this at every single turn.
Anybody who's ever been involved, including Tom Hanks, would agree with me that Barry Sobel's the most fucking annoying son of a bitch in the world. And he got in my car and he was unrelenting, would not fucking, he was doing his act from Punchline. He was running King Kong balls or whatever, fucking over and over. And then he was running these stupid fucking jokes past me. And
you know what else he got on, Andy? The podcast that we did that night in San Francisco, or that day.
Is that Carlos Valencia also?
He jumped in on the podcast because he was hanging out at the Punchline. It's Glenn Wool, Doug, and Barry Sobel. He was hanging out after, and then he got back. I mean, he wormed his way in through Andy to be on the podcast, which was, I get it.
Because I don't have, like I've said before, I don't know how to say no when people like directly take, and that's why I, change phone services a lot or whatever. It's like, I can't say no to a fucking ridiculously pushy salesperson. So he loaded up in my car, and I was still feeling out them pain meds that I'd gotten from the recently, dying at that point. She gave
as your lawyer, I was going to bring that up to the court that you clearly are the victim in this case because
absolutely,
unbeknownst to you, you were given some pills by a young lady, and
those were
everything that happened after that.
Those
really
were
can't be
godsend.
laid at
I mean,
your
I
feet.
did make a bad decision.
Don't argue. I'm arguing for you.
I don't understand why he does this. He starts negating what you just dug him out of a hole, and he just fucking got a bulldozer and dug it deeper.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I have to agree.
Yeah,
I thought
my
Erickson
client
had
just
him
objected.
fucking scot-free.
Your client should be gagged when you're giving a fucking summation. Jesus.
Your Honor, permission to treat my own client as a hostile witness.
I'd have punched him in the mouth by now myself. So this is I don't know if Andy's going to get to this, but between the picture that's behind me right now in the condo from the punchline, the Sacramento punchline, the next day was an off day, and we were going to Bingo's parents in Grass Valley, and Barry was going to the next gig with Andy and thought he could get a ride with us. Barry was going to stay with us at Bingo's parents' house for the night off and then go to the next gig, which was like San Jose or something like that.
No, it was
what was the name of the
Arcata. And he showed, he made it out there with some other, he thought we were going to hang out and go to wine country.
That's right.
Yeah, like Barry Sobel thought not only
on a wine tour.
I didn't even like him at all, and then we're like, he's like, it was like becoming a buddy flick. Like I hated his fucking guts.
Like
and
Nick
then it was like
Nolte
we're gonna
Eddie Murphy.
we're gonna go do wine country and hang out on an off day, and he was gonna keep fucking yapping at me until I finally wanted to beat the shit out of him, and then we'd have to throw in together to solve a crime.
Except that last part, those last couple of things never happened. We had to basically ditch the guy at a hotel or something, and we just took off. Andy got in the car. Go, go, go.
Yeah. Yeah, he
ditched him.
Yeah, and then he showed up in Arcata, California. Like, hey, like,
what did you say was the reason you ditched him at the hotel? Were you like, hey, where were you? We got in the car and you weren't there.
He's the type of guy where you just don't even need to say anything.
I was about to say, Andy, I was just about to say,
mother.
he seems like the type of guy who's used to getting ditched. It just doesn't even ask questions anymore.
Yeah, and then he hung onto my number and he tagged me again in Florida. I was in Florida and somehow he found out, and then he called up. He goes, hey, you want to go meet up and get it? And like, God damn it. And it's fucking Sobel, but he's in the same town. I figured, fuck it. He was Fort Lauderdale or something.
Again.
I know, but I didn't.
The phone and just said yes.
He
Andy just picks up the phone and goes, yes, whatever you're doing or need, I'm here for you. Yes.
He wanted to go to like he had some big corporate gig or something. I don't know, but he needed to go to the H&M store, and there was 2 blocks from his place, but he goes, hey, there's another one right up here. So we get in my car, and then it's not in Fort Lauderdale, it's in Miami. Yeah. So I'm in the car, and it's like, oh, right left. And then I end up on the fucking road. And I'm like, where's this H&M? He goes, oh, it's a fucking, it's a whole different place. So I had him again, and then he's the worst fucking dude ever, I think. And then, he posted on Instagram. There was a picture of a kid who looked like he was in a witness, I don't know. I don't want to it was a sad child who had a picture of like a waffle, and on the waffle he had written in the syrup, it said, Barry is a raper. Like Barry Sobel fashions himself as a rapper, he rapped in Punchline or whatever. He like a white guy rap, like, bad local commercial rapping. But this kid wrote, Barry is a raper. And I wrote in the comment something to the effect that you might want to, eliminate that, something about that comment, being dead, something. And anyway, I forget what I said, but he said, I should delete my life. and then not my wife. He said, my life. I should delete my life because I drew attention to the fact with a joke that he had that kid had Barry as a raper. I said, you might want to smear that chocolate syrup. It hits a little too close to home or something like that. And then he blocked me on all media.
Yeah. You know what?
I assume I won't get any more phone calls.
I have never in my life ever met Barry Sobel or had any dealings with him whatsoever. So I look forward to him attacking me on Twitter over all of this.
Well, I'll tell you what, when we did the podcast, we found out that he opened up, they helicoptered him in to the US Festival as a stand-up comic. Yes. I think he was on Saturday Night Live or something at the time. And I mean, when you got the microphone in front of him and you're interviewing him and he's not, trying to jam you up for a ride, he had some fucking great stories. He had a story about
that was huge, the US Festival.
Oh my God. And he's plopped down on this in the helicopter in the back of the place. They rush him to the stage to go on. And it's just this sea of fucking people. And it was interesting talking to him. He talks about it in the podcast. I'll put it in the show notes.
If he just lived his life as though it's really weird and that was a crazy time in my life instead of thinking it might happen again. That was his whole premise of like he's making another comeback. Like, whoa, how many comebacks? And it's really like, it's like, I mean, there's a few of those guys who kind of blew up huge in the 80s and didn't really have an act or staying power of any kind. And then they decided they weren't going to do it for a while. He probably made plenty of money for a while and then he took a break. But then when he came back, it was like it's like he's still doing the same jokes. He's still doing corporate gigs for people who remember him from MTV. And
so's Winslow. So, I mean,
Winslow
there are people that like that, though.
Yeah, Winslow had some. He could make himself sound like he had an electric razor when he was just shaving with a manual.
He could make it sound like there were a lot of people at the show when there weren't very many. I opened for Michael Winslow a number of times just randomly on the road because he played the Midwest clubs all the time. And the first time I opened for him was in, I think it was like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or somewhere in the Dakotas. And it was just, it was a place called Courtney's. It was one of those places where it was just in the hotel. It was the hotel bar that was like a dance club, and then it was a comedy club on the weekends. And I was opening, and he got to the room after. In fact, I did my opening set. He still wasn't there. Then it was time. The MC went back up, introduced his manager, who then came up and did this big long introduction for Michael Winslow. And then when he came out like to the Rocky music, and he had like he had the staff of the Best Western or whatever, like leading him through the crowd, where he had his hand on their shoulder, like he had to get through the crowd. And he came up and then he does his whole, I'm Jimi Hendrix, so here's a thing, here's a machine gun. And as soon as the show's over, he goes to sit in the back. His manager comes up and says, all right, Michael's going to be in the back. He's got a merch back there. He's got 8x10 glossies. He'll sign for you for $10 or whatever. So I walk up and I walk up to him and I'm like, just to be a nice guy, and I'm like, hey, man, great show. And he just looks up at me and he goes, hey, thanks for coming. You want a headshot? And I'm like, dude, I fucking opened for you. He just thought I was a fucking. Yeah. He's an all right guy though.
Yeah.
He's a really weird cat, man. He was like one of these really introverted kids who was basically ignored by his parents and just sat in front of the TV his whole life, So he just became the TV.
Like Jonathan Winters. Whoa, JJ.
Here's what they're doing now.
Ooh.
Man.
What's happened? Look at
firecrackers and dynamite.
Is that a GoFundMe? What
Jay,
the fuck is that?
Does he do any Omar's
looks like
coming?
Jimmy Walker was too close. It looks like Jimmy Walker was too close to the dynamite when it went off.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a.
Is it okay for black people to do blackface?
Yeah. No, that's
acceptable.
Doesn't JJ look? You would think instead of Good Times, I'm thinking The Wire. But that's the guy from Good Times.
It looks like Michael Winslow gave him a pair of binoculars to see to check something.
Yeah.
Franked him out.
Yeah.
It looks like Michael Winslow is just showing off at how much better he's aged in that picture.
Yeah,
Look at me, motherfuckers.
Seeing JJ looking like that, it reminds me of a guy who used to run errands for him that we all know, or Chad doesn't, but remember, Scrawny Ronnie Putnam used to be JJ's gopher. So he would he would fly Ronnie to places, and Ronnie would go there in his stained sweatpants, and then he would go get in like a Cadillac or something that JJ bought over the phone, and then drive that to JJ. And I don't think they did drugs or anything, but Ronnie did. I know Ronnie did. He had a taste for it, but probably it was just like they were auto buddies.
Well, when you buy a car on over the phone, you're probably going to need someone to drive it to you.
Yeah, that's what he.
If you don't have the interest to even go check it out.
Yeah. I always thought that was just a fun association, as Ronnie Putnam and Kid Dynamite. Like that should be a buddy flick, like a Thelma and Louise, Ronnie Putnam and JJ on the road. They just bought a Cadillac, and JJ doesn't want to drive, so Ronnie Putnam gets called into Memphis. We're driving out to LA.
JJ never learned to drive. He was a star in the 70s. Early 20s.
JJ did the one, or Jimmy Walker, the one amazingly lucky thing he did was he hired Letterman to be a writer, and Letterman paid for his airfare for years and probably still does out of gratitude. And JJ took advantage of it and turned it into a triple career. Well, after Good Times, he was doing triple gigs, but asking for more and demanding money if they said Dynamite, or if if you wanted him to say Dynamite, that'd be an extra couple.
That was an upcharge?
Yeah, he upcharged him.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to ask him to say it. He didn't want to say it, but he did have it on a T-shirt available for sale after the show.
I
didn't run across him, but I always hoped I would.
I would have paid him extra to say, "What you talking about, Willis?"
Yeah.
That's not me. I don't care. I want you to say.
Pay JJ to say that? I don't even know what was his cat, but he had. Yeah, no, that would be funny.
He just got it.
Took Andy a minute.
I was thinking that, have Gary Coleman go up to him and go, Dynamite. Like, fuck you, dude. Get out of here, man. Where's Rodney Allen Ripneyfield when you need him? Remember that guy? He was the.
I remember Rodney
Gary
Allen
Coleman.
Rippey.
I think it was Rodney Allen Rippey. Is that it? I'm putting a field on Rodney Allen. He was like like between Buckwheat and Gary Coleman.
I know who you're I know who you're talking about now.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of black children on TV back in the day.
Correct.
I don't know that one. Well, you'd have to tell me what that kid played in.
I mean, look at it. I mean, there was so few black kids that they gave Richie Cunningham's ugly brother a TV series, and that kid they had to use. I mean, that was the ugliest kid. What's his name?
You're talking about Clint Howard.
Clint Howard. Oh, you're right, dude.
The ugliest kid ever.
It was like, show.
Yeah, Gentle Ben. It's like, just hire a black actor. This kid, we're out of white kids. Look how ugly. God damn it. He's a ginger.
All the way to the bottom of the barrel of white kids before the select even one.
Oh, that's systemic, right?
Yeah, they were using the second, third least talented kid in the family in gingers, so they were out. They were out of white kids. It's very fortunate. I think
Rodney Allen Rippey. It says it's Jack in the Box. Was he was a burger salesman for a while.
He was.
I can't.
I don't even.
I mean, when he was a
I'm
kid,
sure I shouldn't be laughing at.
Maybe that's how racist Hollywood was, because he was so good in that burger commercial. I remember his name, so he should have had his own show, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Equally talented as JJ.
I like that you put him up
JJ
there with
Jimmy Walker was
and,
good.
No, JJ was a good actor, and it's like
Good Times was a great fucking show, man.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, John Amos. That's a no nonsense.
Yeah, no shit.
He hit his kids. You knew it wasn't sexual. I was thinking that show wasn't a spin-off to Different Strokes.
Good Times?
Oh yeah, I mean that was
yeah.
But there was like I'm getting that mixed up with Jeffersons and all that.
Check it out.
Rodney Allen
Rippey and Meadowlark Lemon, dude.
There you
oh,
go.
Man.
And it's signed by Rodney Allen. No.
All you got was a deflated basketball. Rodney Allen Rippey got a jersey and got to sit on Meadowlark's lap.
Oh, yeah, he probably dunked. He got on his shoulders or something and dunked.
A little cool red, white, and blue sweatband for his wrist.
The two guys at the top of their game. One guy could make a half-court hook shot, and the other guy could throw the perfect pitch for a burger. And that's it. That's his whole fucking thing. He did one fucking commercial. It's bullshit. Let's bring him back. Where is he?
I wonder if he's around.
I know. Oh, so I got to talk about the shirt.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Check out this shirt. This was sent. Came in the mail for me. So I got two things in the mail already.
Stretch it out, Andy.
You gotta stretch your shirt out.
You got see it. You got. Still can't pull it down on the bottom of it, so
it's Dr. Steele.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, from Christina Ladvig.
Nice. Thank you, Christina.
Sent me. I got it, and I was like, well, "What the fuck is that?" I thought it was Bigfoot or something. Then it was like, wait a minute. He's got a steel hand. It's like a Big Jim shirt. Like what? I didn't even know Big Jim had product.
Well, yeah, it should be a vest that's too small.
If I would have known that, I would have had like a merch table at the back of the Big Jim van. Yeah, Dr. Steele has some shirts available. He doesn't want to do pictures. Yeah. Now he'll chop a piece of wood, but you got to pay for that. And he will. He will ask you to. Yeah, he will ask you to refrain from saying, "Knock it with your steel hand," unless you pay extra. Dynamite. That he's chopping steel with his steel hand. Like fuck yeah. Like I mean, like I wear this in a fucking do-rag. I could probably beat the shit out of some accountant.
You could beat the shit out of Antifa if they come to your town.
I am Antifa. I'm going to
Antifa.
I'm going. Listen. They were worried about people looting Coquille. Well, when I was a kid, I used to loot the fuck out of Coquille. I go down there, I wear knee-high socks, and I would line my socks with bubble yum. Like 15, 20 packs. I'd take a whole box of bubble yum, and I walked out like a.
That's not looting. That's just straight up shoplifting, dude.
Yeah.
Looters don't bother to put bubble yum in their socks. They just carry it out through the broken window.
Yeah,
Can you imagine Andy with 20 packs of bubble gum in his fucking knee-high socks walking out of the store?
Well, what I did was I was self-taught, and I grew up in a time with there was very little parental supervision, which backfired on me later. But, I would go to the store and I would take a little pocket knife, and then I would grab they would put the pack of bubble, the box of bubble open gum, and on top of a unopened pack. So that one I would just slip out, and then I would hide it, and then I would go into the back of the store or to the bathroom. Like, I looked like I needed to go potty. And then I would take that box, and then I would line my socks and throw it in the back, and then leave. And then
they think you have giant calves. There's like, look at the calves on that kid.
Nobody looks at it, I look like Opie. I look like Opie going in there, and then I would steal them blind. And I had no, like Trump has no empathy. I had no remorse for stealing. From I didn't know Safeway Corporation, and I didn't feel like I was taking any. It's just like kind of like a game.
Yeah.
Did you ever get caught?
Well, one time a guy come all the way from another store and he said I stole stuff. Like he came all the way up to my house, which was not far from downtown, and he can like my mom was out there and he was like he stole. I saw him do it and he left the store and I said I left the money there. And my mom had this hole in her purse where all the money would just roll down into all these change and stuff. So as soon as that happened, I went and rifled her purse, dumped, I usually did it anyway, but this time was desperation and I got money and I ran out the front door. This guy was still, my mom babbled to people way too much. So she was basically
cover.
She was running cover and I slid down the hill that I threw Drowsy down, slid down, fucking ran. And
so
ran
it is survivable.
Ran across a highway. And then I saw that guy coming down the hill and he was going to take the other way directly down Main Street, Coquille, where Antifa was going to kill everybody. And I ran. I was a fast little fucker and I was guilty. So I fucking ran doubly fast and I ran the backside of town up and around, and I saw him coming around the corner on the other end of the street, and I zipped up there and got into the store without him seeing me, and was fucking darted around there, and I put like $4 or whatever it was. I stole, probably a Big Jim outfit. It was the Ben Franklin store, it was called.
Yeah.
And I put the money up there. Yeah, and then I hid in the store, and he found the money, and I don't know if he called. I think he called later and apologized. And my mom, I think I got like a special dessert or some shit for being honest.
Wow.
I love that you did the total reverse Ocean's 11. You put the money back.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I was like, I really, it was like kind of the first time I had it's like, this guy's calling me on it. I knew it had to be sneaky, but it's like, shit, it's wrong too. So I sorted it out, Yeah, and I got caught a couple. Junice Huntley ratted me out, and she had no business,
Yeah.
Mind your business. Your kids are way fucking weirder. But
I know. Andy,
I
re-aim your camera because you're cutting off the top of your head.
Okay,
and then just look at your shirt again.
One time I got caught.
Thank you.
Stealing. Well, the guy, 7-Eleven clerk or owner of the 7-Eleven, told my mom I stole beer from the 7-Eleven. She goes, I know he wasn't drinking it himself, even though I threw up in bed a lot. Every couple of days, my sheets are back in the laundry with vomit. I think you need to be in a
drink in bed.
Yeah,
so you got to the point of throwing up, and then you just threw up.
I shotgun beers. I would
drinking alone in bed right before he goes to sleep.
Well, I had a few. I had some depression. I had some depression issues.
If you don't know that your kid's being molested by the time he's drinking beer alone in his bed till he throws up
under the covers with naked big Jims.
Yeah, you gotta. That's
one time. My mom found about 18 cans that have all been punctured, like pounders. Like I was pound to pounder, and that got me feeling shotgun one, and then that made me feel. I usually only did one, but that made me feel okay. She found a bag of them, and I was like, my friends did this. I don't know. I think we're cashing them in.
The saddest, most hilarious story I've ever heard.
I mean, when you hear how weak my lie game is and shit, you understand how Larry was able to thrive. Because it's like, it's like I didn't take much, and my mom believed me over any logic. She's like, oh, okay. But she told the 7-Eleven clerk, I don't think my son drinks. And she goes, he must. And he goes, come on, Dory, wake up. And I was like standing there right there going,
come on, Dory,
God
wake
damn
up.
it, man. Don't take this shit, Mom.
Punch him.
Yeah. You don't need this shit. That guy don't buy many ads in the newspaper anyway. She was ad lady at the time.
Oh, hustling ads, yeah.
And then that's how I got hustled into the tire business, because she talked too much and goes, oh, my son's looking for a job. And yeah.
And that's when you found out you were looking for a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every job. Like, I mean, I had a lot. I did scaffold building the same way. I wasn't looking for that job. Just somebody goes, "Oh, I could get you a job there," and like,
when you stole the beer from 7-Eleven, how did you steal it? Did you just put it under your shirt and walk out, or did you have some sort of
misdirect situation? There was, I think that might have been.
Was it I mean, by yourself though? You didn't have
we get two or three people, and then you'd get a suitcase of beer. You'd move it to the back of an aisle, and then you just kind of like buddy system it out. I might have been the last one to cart the suitcase out, and my mom was right. I didn't drink all them beers. I drank about 6 or 7 of them because we had John Lindergan get us whiskey, So
gross.
Yeah, my mom was just like, like one time I came home from, I was really drunk, and then I ate cereal, and I put the milk on top of the fridge and the cereal in the fridge. And then she's like, "What's going on?" And it's like, you just, And then I was just like bummed out about something instead of like, I'm really, this is my first experience with Everclear. Give me some fucking room, bitch.
I need my Captain Crunch before I go to bed. I gotta have something to throw up.
Yeah. You want to clean stomach bile again? I don't think so. Let me eat.
God damn it.
Yeah. I thought I did have stomach issues, but I now realize that shotgun and beers on an empty belly all the time will cause. And I was like, I think I'm dying. I stomach disease.
Oh shit.
Turns out I was a bit of a drunk. There's nothing like that when you have stressful times or whatever, and you're about 109 pounds, and you take a pounder, shotgun that.
What's take a pounder? I've never heard that before.
That's what we do. It's just with shotgun pounder beers, the
16-ounce beer.
Tall
one, that's a 16-ounce beer.
I think they said pounder on them too, right?
Yeah, and then we try to, and then you try to suck it, and so it would like fold in the middle. Boys. Yeah,
same here.
Yeah, well, that sounds kind of gay.
I guess.
Shotgun and a tall boy.
Wait, yeah, pounder totally doesn't sound gay at all.
It's a tall boy if you're a top, and it's a pounder if you're a bottom.
Right. Well, I was being trained to be a top, which seems weird. It's like, what's that all about? Like, if you're going to be a pedophile, you should be a top, I think.
Don't assume my position.
I know. I was like, I know. Just because I'm a Leo doesn't make me a leader. I got drafted by the wrong team.
Well, they put you in at quarterback, and you should have been a receiver.
Yeah. I had good hands. I think
you shouldn't have been expected to know the plays.
I caught 1,000% of the footballs thrown my direction before I quit, which was I was 2 for 2. One was down in the middle where our quarterback sucked, and he's a real timid prick. And we had one. It was like a 150 look-in where you just went across the middle, and if you had a good quarterback who maybe led you might be able to do something with that. But if you got a guy who throws it high and you're right in the middle, you get planted on. So I got planted and landed on my head. I didn't fumble because I didn't know it was an option. I would have fucking gladly got rid of the football. I think I just kind of fell on top of it. And then I was like, I didn't even know if I wanted to keep playing football anymore after that. And then I had one that was a lookout pass, and I almost made a touchdown. In fact, I thought I had a touchdown, and then I got a 15-yard penalty for throwing the football down. And I hit the pylon. I got the pylon, and then he goes out of bounds, and I hit the. I don't know. I mean, there was no replay or whatever, and then I threw the ball.
That would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, I go. It was one of those rare games where Coquille was winning, and it was a over. It was like a big lead. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten the ball. So it was, and I scored a touchdown. That official was a fucking cunt. fuck him. And I said something, that I spiked the football and said, fuck you, or fuck this. I think what I said is fuck this, because I was mad at myself for that. I don't know.
For
But
scoring?
I got it. Yeah, I scored a touchdown, in my opinion, but it's like they didn't put it on the board. And that's when I said, fuck this. That's what he thought I was,
I think that anytime in high school, if you say fuck during the game out loud, it's going to be penalized.
I got a lot of weird penalties. Like one time I threw a mud ball in a guy's face mask.
They created penalties off Andy's play.
I slid on a play, and I had a handful of mud, and I threw it in the helmet of a guy. But it's like, it was like a penalty, and it was like it was a prank. It was more of a prank. He wasn't on my team, but I was pranking him.
It's like kicking sand in a player's face. What are you?
Or blowing pepper.
It was
just funny. Come on.
It was instinct.
Yeah.
It was like
I knew Andrist had that pepper grinder for a reason.
Yeah. Andy's playing linebacker, and he throws down a bunch of tacks on the field before the receivers run their routes.
It was a defensive back, and then when, sometimes if I felt like a receiver was too fast for me to handle, I just let them go do what they were going to do. I was like, I'm not a team player here. I'm not going to,
It's called giving up.
Yeah, that's when I discovered drugs about the same time as I stopped being a starter. You get replaced. And you move down the chain, and you're like, oh, it's fun to just stand here and watch the game on the sideline and be high. So I didn't really worry about it, and then I quit. Best decision I made. Yeah.
Me too.
Me too.
I was so much happier. I was so much happier after I quit playing high school sports. Just being in high school and instead of getting all fucking anxious and worried about the football game, we got to get out of school on Friday and work to find beer the entire time till the football game started, and then attend the football game, but leave early and ride around in the car and be cool the whole time. It was 1,000 times better, man. Fucking life.
You might not get the date at cheerleader, but the drill team were the chicks you wanted to go out with anyway. And they didn't really even fucking care. I mean, basically they were drill team, which is the equivalent of not being on the football team for chicks. Not a cheerleader, but you get
they were the girls who bummed smokes off of you in the alley.
Yeah.
I wrestled and played baseball until sophomore year wrestling. I blew my knee out junior year wrestling, but I agree with you. It was so much more fun not playing sports and having to worry about. I never played football, but I used to hang out with the football players' girlfriends, talk to them while they're. So I thought that was more fun.
You were like the kid, and you were like Daniel in Karate Kid.
Yeah, I never did any sports. We just surfed because it's Southern California, and that was enough to,
Well, you went to a giant school, right?
What do you mean giant?
Well, compared to mine,
I think. I mean, Southern California.
His school had as many people as your town, Eric.
I'm sure of it.
I think we had 400 in our graduating class.
Well, that's not huge.
No, it's not
big,
a huge
though.
School. Yeah, but it was. I think we were 4.
I mean, my school never had tryouts. If you wanted to be on the team, you were on the team. That's it. You just went out and you were on the team, and everyone was on the team. So if you wanted to play, you could. Whereas some of you guys went to, like getting on the team would be something you had to work at just to start with. You'd
have to survive cuts. You would hope to make it.
Doing that, right?
That's like I saw that on Real Sports. It's like Finland or one of those countries. It has all inclusive. It's like they all the U.S. program. We specialize in soccer or whatever it is, whatever that sport is. That kid specializes it. And then all these other kids get excluded, and there may be the fucking great player who gets excluded. So they let everybody do it, and then eventually, if they really want to go to the next level, they do that. It's like what a weird system.
And that's why Finland is such a power in the world of soccer today.
I don't know that that's a sport. I mean, I may have it wrong.
I'm with you.
But it's like
that's how it should be done.
Yeah, for every great athlete that emerges through the like little league system, you get all these ones who are burnouts or ones who didn't play the sport because they couldn't afford it, and they just let everybody play. And eventually, if you want to, specialize, like skiing and shit, like everybody gets to do that fun shit.
Yeah.
We started off in my town like you used to play T-ball, T-league, where you play baseball off the tee and stuff. And then it's all fun up to a point, and then it got really, really competitive. And I was not very athletic, and I didn't care
did
that
the tee
much.
start
I was
moving?
scrawny. You guys might not believe it, but I wrestled 165 my junior year in high school was what I wrestled.
Shit.
Wow. I was a scrawny little fucker, so I wasn't cut out for competing in sports with those guys at all. Plus, I didn't care. So,
yeah.
I like the idea of Chad playing T-ball.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know when I played it, I hit the fuck out of that tee.
man,
That's a strike, Andy. When you hit the tee.
Oh, I know. But it feels like a hit.
it's the same sensation.
Yeah.
And everybody fucking cheers. So who cares?
What's great in this picture Chaille's got up is that if you look in the background at the position of where the shortstop would be, there's a player. It looks like a girl because it looks like a ponytail who's facing completely the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And
right next to the shortstop.
Yeah, in fact, next to there's another person with their back to the. There's like maybe they're in a whole different cave over there.
I knew
there's two little kids. They're both facing the wrong way.
I knew in T League that I was going to be mediocre at sports because I was neither the kid hitting home runs off the tee or the kid peeing their pants in left field. So I was like, I'm somewhere in between there, always, and always have been.
Yeah,
I love baseball.
I played sports, but I was never a team player. Like, I never cared about I like playing football and hitting people or catching passes, but I didn't care about us winning as a team, and I didn't feel good. It didn't matter to me win or lose. I just wanted to play, and I never developed that overall team spirit.
You were a great kid, and that should always be encouraged, but you were the worst teammate. Because it's like, if you were one of those kids who really was trying to win, you'd be like, what in the fuck are you doing? Like you just said.
That's why I thought if you, because you're athletic, Andy. I mean,
I acted like I wanted to win.
Yeah, it seems like you, like before the drugs, if you could have gotten into like I said, tennis or maybe art or something that you by yourself.
Yeah, you'd have been good at tennis.
I was a highly ranked tennis player in Coquille. As my mom played tennis, and
qualify that.
First of all, Coquille did not have rankings for tennis.
Yes, they did. They had at Fifth Street Park.
The
Coquille Tennis
Club. There was a Coquille tennis ranking committee that ranked.
Yes, they did, and they had a ranking board, and you would get called, you would get challenged, and my mom was in the tennis club and signed me up, and I couldn't really play. I didn't never develop no serve or anything. So, but at the beginning of the summer. 2 summers in a row, because of my name and alphabetized, I was the number 1 ranked player, and then I would just dodge phone calls, like and
undefeated.
Anybody in the tennis club
all season.
Yeah, anybody could challenge anybody. I'd get calls from old dudes. It was like, really, this is like, I'm lucky I didn't show up for those matches.
With all due respect, those old dudes may have been calling for a different reason.
Yeah, so
they saw your name up on another board.
I was
you were in a club, but it wasn't the tennis club.
Yeah, I was highly
phone
ranked.
Numbers on some Polaroids going around.
I was highly ranked, and a lot of older dudes called me for challenges. I show up with a headband and short pants, and they were like, word got around fast, he's not much of a player, but he will bend over and pick up the ball a lot.
He's good in a tracksuit.
Yeah,
he shows up.
I hadn't earned my tracksuit at that point.
Hey, Andy, this is Timber Hill Country Club, so they do have tennis courts in Coquille.
That's what?
Timber Hill?
I was a part of. I've never heard of that shit. I never even heard of no Timber Hill.
That's in Coquille.
There's
there's a couple golf courses.
That's new money.
Oh yeah.
But I'm looking for that one. What was it? That camp that you went to and you got ringworm?
Camp Humdinger. These are the 1%ers of Coquille right here, obviously. You know, running shoes on a tennis court. Those are fucking Jockos. I guess the caddies. I guess
well, you can really spot them, Andy.
Yeah, Bushwood's letting the caddies use the pool.
The only reason Andy played tennis was for the fashion. I want to look at the shoes.
Yeah, well, but no, I never really played tennis, but I played doubles with my mom a few times, just goofing around, and then I was in the tennis club. But I look like I might have been a fucking young tennis protege, but nowadays I got tennis elbow from jerking off. It's basically the same.
That's an old joke from the 90s that everybody made 5 times.
I played tennis in the 90s.
I really hope a picture surfaces after this podcast, as usually happens, of Andy in a tennis outfit. I would like to see that.
I don't know what happened to the tennis. There was one time I rode in the tennis on a float in the Gay 90s parade with the tennis club.
You did. It's like
I was in.
No matter what weird group you were in, you managed to be in that group when the parade happened because you ended up on their float. You were on the tennis float.
I was highly sought out by older males to ride on their float. The tennis club.
That's not even a thing.
A lot of older dudes. Bill Club Tavern didn't have a float, but I'm sure they would have asked me to be on it.
What was the other float you rode on? Because I remember you talking about riding some other. Maybe not.
I know in one parade I had John Wayne, my guinea pig, and I walked around with him in a wagon.
What?
Yeah, I was
a guinea pig.
I had a guinea pig named John Wayne, and he ate babies, so he was a lot like the Duke. John. So I walked. That was for the Gay 90s had a kids parade, so the kids could parade around past. It was kind of a reverse, all the old dudes could kind of line the curbs, and then the kids would walk by.
You'd throw them candy.
Yeah, no, we were eye candy. They would scramble to grab a piece and put it in their car and drive off. But I walked around with John Wayne in a decorated wagon. I think it's the wagon I still have. Probably it's my main wagon.
Like a Radio Flyer red wagon with 4 wheels and a behind.
I used to ride it. I used to write it down.
Hey, you get a wagon that's good. You get a wagon that's good. You keep it. You know what I'm saying?
That's okay for not your day to day. That's not a primary wagon.
Well,
that's like a secondary wagon. Yeah, I wouldn't be caught dead with that in a parade.
I don't use it much anymore, but I used to write it down. Like we had one of the first homes built in Coquille, and it's still a historic place, and it was just right above our house, and me and my brothers couldn't keep off the property, and Lucky Bonnie hated us kids. He didn't like any of us, the Andrist boys. His name was Lucky Bonnie. He was like a fucking, I don't know, he was a pharmacist in town, so he made a lot of money selling drugs to the white trash back in the day. But he had this glorious home, and then we would go up to his front porch and then jump on the wagon and ride it down his sidewalk, and then down into traffic, and then down a hill across a intersection. What? Not them girls.
No, I was gonna say, Andy, that's where you got your wagon riding skills. I just remembered there was. Remember that picture?
Yeah.
No, I did a lot of radio wagon stunts. I don't know why.
That's what I mean. Now it's all coming back to me. Like you said that was my regular wagon, and I made fun of that. You saying that, but now I realize that you really do have like that was one of your things was to be like really good on a wagon.
That's a
like
vivid memory for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't burn it out of my mind.
Yeah, I still, I mean, I'll bring it. I'll bring it when we do that Branson, Missouri shindig, ride down a hill in Branson.
Yeah.
Yak off. Yakov said we could have some vodka barbecue in his. Celebrate what a great country this is.
What a cunt.
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
I got to make a drink. So I say we go do that. Thanks everybody for watching and subscribing and liking and being out there. We do this a couple of times a week. You can, there you go. Subscribe to Chad's Twitch channel through your Amazon Prime subscription. You just got to re-up it every month. It's very easy. Send Andy money at Venmo, on his Venmo right there. Like and subscribe to our channel. If you want to come back with us for another one, join our Patreon. It's $5 a month, and we do this twice a week on there too. So that's where we're going to go right now. We'll see you.